a photo that show. I mean, it's scary what the media can do and how.
And it's scary. And it's scary right now that you're talking to a person right now that potentially you don't know for a fact, ladies, whether you like it or not. You don't know for a fact exactly what happened. You don't know. And what you're doing exactly what the media is doing. You're spinning the narrative. When he was on the stand and they asked him about the knuckles, right? We're gonna get more into this, but when they asked him about the knuckles, he said, "I fell down on my knuckles." And how do you say it, Kev?
He was like coming down an incline. He had a beverage in one hand, and he lost his footing. So he kind of went down. He was clenching a can in one hand, and he was trying to brace his fall.
And when he was on that stand, he said, "I don't recall about 100 times. I don't recall. 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 I don't remember. I don't." But he did remember how he fell and hurt his hands.
Exactly.
Right? Why is somebody on the stand? Right? Why is every time they turn the corner in this case, you want to say conspiracy? The conspiracy, honestly, is you guys made up a conspiracy that every time we turned the corner, it was a lie. We asked Colin. He said, "I don't know. I don't know." We asked Big Bad Brian A, "Why didn't you turn in your phone?" "Oh, I had to upgrade my phone." We asked him about the butt dial to Higgins. "I don't know how that happened." You asked Higgins, "Oh, I think I butt dialed him back." You asked Jen McCabe, "How long to die in the cold?" I never did that. You ask her all these different questions. The 911 call, the recorded phone call that was on Karen's answering machine saying, "Come outside." The 911 call, why she had two chances to say the guy, she said the guy and the man. She said there's a guy outside, there's a man outside. Every time we turned the corner, this conspiracy that we allegedly brought up, every time we turned the corner, there was always some shady shit going on. And you forget to ask this guy this question. There's all these shady things going on. So that's got to be very coincidental that this got to go on. And then when they asked Allie about, her driving around, she wasn't in the right circle, in the right bubble with that app. She said she went home right after, but the app says different. Julie gets a phone call, "Your wife, Chris," at 4:55 a.m. by Jen McCabe. Jen McCabe says she don't answer. Your wife wakes up at 8:30 in the morning, goes to bring donuts, 6 donuts to the house, notices Jen trucks in the driveway, doesn't even call her to see what's up. It's on a Saturday, right? An off day, a weekend, and it's a blizzard, and her best friend's in the driveway of your brother's house where there's kids present. There was a party the night before, and she doesn't think to go up to the door to see anything, and she's walking out the driveway, and we know the rest of that story. We'll get into that. I mean, there's you manhandling an ATF agent. There's you at the end of the night, Chris A., staying until 12:09 talking to John. You roll up your sleeve and you walk away from him, and John drinks his drink. He's looking right past you, right, Chris? And he drinks his drink and he looks to the left, and there you go to the bathroom. Then he looks to his right, and right to his right is Maddie M on the backup with Karina's husband. And guess what? Karina, Karen, and Jen, they walked out. As they walked out, you go to the bathroom in the waterfall, and keep in mind the waterfall's this big. Now, you got lucky once again. The waterfall video, the bug eye lens, the surveillance lens makes everything far apart, but everything's really like this, right? And
just to add something else to that, which you're probably getting up to it, but out of the group of men that were inside that waterfall, you were the last one that passed words with John. You passed words with him.
He was the last one out.
He was the last one out, but he was the last one to say something to John. John watched him walk out back to either go to the bathroom or do what he was going to do. And he looked to his left, he looked to his right, and he walked out. What did you say to him? What did you say to John? What did you say to John?
What did you say to him? You know what he said to him. He said, "I don't know why they're acting up like that." And the reason why you stayed there, Chris A., if you asked me, you was wondering if your brother was going to come back through that door with Higgins. That day, Chris A., you said that John went to D&E Pizza with his son, Patrick, his nephew.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was for. CF McCarthy's right next door to D&E Pizza, ladies and gentlemen. It's kissing. Where did John O'Keefe and Karen go right before they went to the waterfall? They went to find food and proper pints. They went to CF McCarthy's. If you're inside your little establishment, you could see who's walking to CF McCarthy's. Did John peek his head into your store and say, "Hey, come on, come in the CF's"? Your wife also testified that she was in CF McCarthy's earlier. Your wife left early. Question is, why did Julie leave early? Did Julie like John? Did Julie like Karen? Did people know that Higgins and Karen were talking? Was this the big bombshell? Is this the reason what was going on? This was entertainment for the night? Because it's a blizzard. Why else go out? We see guys that are 50 years old out in Tennessee, doing petty streams on people like LTL for entertainment purposes. People like this type of behavior. Who's to say you guys didn't want to throw Karen under the bus? Because John, right? He's a Boston cop. He's got a house. He's doing well for himself. And Karen is the girlfriend, the outsider, right? And she's got the Lexus, and she's got a way about her. And now the T's out there that she was talking to Higgins behind her back, and they want to throw her out there. They want to put them together in the same place at the same mother effing time to see the reaction. And who can set it up? Who can make that happen? Clean Chris A. Because there you are at D&E, and as they're coming back from New York, maybe did you call your brother up and say, "Hey, guess who just walked in CF McCarthy's? He was in here earlier. He's out right now with Karen. Do you want me to invite him down to the waterfall? You're with Higgins? Yeah, invite him down. Let's get this off this dude's chest." And keep in mind what Higgins said. Higgins said to Big Bad Brian A. Well, he said to Karen, he said that he doesn't talk out of school. Now, if you were to repeat that to somebody like Big Bad Brian A., right, Kev?
Yep.
And he was in the car driving back from New York, and he looked at Kevin Albert, who was in the truck with him, and then there was another Boston police officer and Big Bad Brian A. If they were driving home in this truck from New York, tanked up a little bit, a little drunk, all the power in the world. You got an ATF agent, a Canton cop, a Boston cop, and then you got another Boston cop, Big Bad Brian A. And Kevin from South Boston, a.k.a. Higgins, says, "I've been talking to the chick. You know, I like her. She likes me. And this dude, John, you know, and keep in mind, Big Bad Brian A claims he had no idea who John O'Keefe was like that. He wasn't friends with him. But he also said after she got found guilty that he would take a bullet for John O'Keefe. He also said that too.
That's right.
But keep in mind, Patrick, there was a guy named Patrick who was on Boston's Finest. Who was he on Boston's Finest with?
Big Bad
Brian
Brian.
Albert.
Brian Albert. And he committed suicide, allegedly. He committed suicide. And guess who was his best friend? Who was Patrick's best friend? Who?
John O'Keefe.
John O'Keefe. So was there any smoke between John O'Keefe and Big Bad Brian A? You're talking about a movie set. Well, or should I say like a set, a base camp, a wardrobe, trucks, catering, extras. You're talking about production on these streets. Did John ever pop up at one of these episodes to see what was going on, to see what the experience is like? Why wouldn't he? His best friend Patrick's at a TV show with Donnie Wahlberg. You know, when you get with Donnie Wahlberg, you sing funny songs. All of a sudden, you sing songs like this.
Please don't forget. You could remember. Tell me to say.
You know, New Kids on the Block, if you're not familiar, if you're not from Boston, New Kids on the Block, they're the OGs of Boston, and they still tour. They're worldwide. But in Boston, that's Boston. That's Boston's own. It's something about it. And keep in mind, they're in Vegas, and they still do worldwide big things. But in Boston, it's different. So the fact that he's with Donnie, it's Donnie's show. Did he ever show up to the set? And if he showed up to the set, he might run into somebody, right, Kev?
That's right.
Kev, who he might run? Who is it he might run into?
He could run into Big Bad Brian A.
Who?
Big Bad Brian A.
Oh, Big Bad Brian A. Let's ask. I gotta make a phone call real quick. Let me call 911. Hold on. Hello? Can I speak to Barrows, please? Officer Barrows, this is an emergency. We need the truth. You're the only good cop in America. Is Big Bad Brian A telling the truth?
Absolutely not.
Wow. One more thing, Barrows, before I let you go. Did Chris A know about Higgins and Karen Reed? And was he being truthful with us?
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Barrows. Can always count on you. The only good cop in the world is Officer Barrows.
Barrows.
Always count on him. So now you put the pieces together. Clean Chris A. And who did he live next door to? Who did Clean Chris A live next door to?
John O'Keefe.
And one time, his son Dylan went across Chris A's lawn, and John O'Keefe said something to little Dylan, didn't he? Kevin.
He said, "Hey, get off my lawn."
Yeah. Oh, man.
Get off my lawn, kid.
Damn, man. Wow. I might have to put my glasses back on for this one. Wow, I'm gonna start crying. And now keep in mind, he's a new school dude, right? Well, someone new in the neighborhood, right? At the time, right? And he tells Chris. Now, Chris testified that he didn't know John. He had to call Jen. And then Jen called John. John felt bad. John got the favorite candy for little Dylan. Not to be mistaken with Jay Brilliant, right? And he got the candy. And he brought the candy over. And Chris opened the door and said, "Who are you? Are you John O'Keefe?" He said, "Yeah, I got the candy for little Dylan. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings. He was just all over my shit. And you don't just tell your kid, eat these fucking M&Ms and stay off my fucking lawn." Now, somebody might feel a certain way, because if your little brother gets slighted, what's the saying? You are my brother's keeper. Chris A got all types of brothers. Kevin, Brian. I think he got like a couple other brothers too that we don't even know about. I'm sure that came up. So I'm sure Chris A is always telling little Colin, "Hey kid, you gotta look out for your little brother. He's your little fucking brother. You always look out. Something happens to him, it happened to you. No if there's no neutral. Something happens to your little brother, it happened to you. You understand? Because that's how me and my brothers grew up. You know how we are. We're tight like glue. You got it?
Just take care of it.
Didn't Karen say something happened with Colin?
Yeah.
What was that?
Colin was tossing his empties over John's fence. Caused a little issue.
Hannah says, what blows my mind is using sympathy and emotional narratives versus facts to argue why Colin or any other McAlvis are complicit or innocent. Thank you, Hannah. Becky G says goals. And keep in mind, people, we got goals in different area codes right now posted in the chat. Go ahead and populate them. Let's get the conversation moving. And remember, turbulence in the chat keeps the plane rocking. And remember one thing, people, don't be shy. Give somebody a membership today. It's all green every day. Let's see AGE hashtag.
Static selector.
So here's the thing, 4:55 a.m. She called Julie up to see if he walks home with Chris. Julie doesn't pick up. So then Matty M on the backup springs up out of bed. "Hey, honey, why do you think he walked home with Chris?" We seen him. She calls. She calls Kate.
No, it's like she don't remember pacing back and forth in that fucking house, looking out the front window.
Listen, who do you think? Let's keep it 100%. Who wears the pants in that family? Jen McCabe or Matty M? Matty M didn't spring up shit. Once Karen said, "I don't remember what happened. All I remember is the waterfall," that's when a bulb popped in Jen McCabe's head. "Oh, you don't remember nothing?" "No, I don't remember shit. I just remember being at the waterfall. Did John leave? Did he leave with me? I don't know what happened. I just woke up. I don't know. Where's he at? Do you know where he's at?" "Well, I don't know where he's at, Karen. I don't know. Let me call Julie up and see if he walked home with Chris. Maybe him and Chris went somewhere else." Were you fighting with him? Were you fighting with him? Because does Jen McCabe know what really happened between her and Higgins? And Jen McCabe is poking her? Were you fighting with him? Were you fighting with him?
Does Jen McCabe take the same medication as Karen?
Were you fighting with him? Let me hang up the shoe. Let me call Julie. So now Julie don't pick up. Allegedly. Now she calls Kaylee back. Kaylee goes, Karen, it's Jen. She wants to talk to you. Hello? I just talked to Julie. He didn't walk home with Chris. What if he got hit by a plow? What if something bad happened to him? It's bad out there. You'll freeze out there. Oh my God, Jen. Now keep in mind, Karen's a spaz. Quirky. I mean that with all due respect, Karen. I'm just saying. She freaked out. She went from 0 to 100. What do you mean? Oh my God, like what's going on? Well, let's go find him. Let's see if he. What if he's over? You know, he used to see a girl named Becca. Maybe he's over there. I don't know. Let's go find him. Now let's go there though. So now all of a sudden, Karen doesn't 100% trust Jen, obviously. So Karen calls up. She calls up Kerry. Kerry, we need to find John. I don't know where he is. Do you know where he is? Did he call you? Dada, bada, doodle. So Kerry, dun 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 dun. Kerry says, okay, I'll come meet you. Where you gonna be? I'm going over to Jen McCabe's house. It's this address. Come here. So here they all go. Now let's all go back to One Meadows Ave. They all jump in the Lexus. Well, Jen drives a Lexus with Karen. Jen drives a Lexus. Would you believe it? Jen was driving a Lexus. Did you like the Lexus? Did it drive good? Did it handle good? In the snow, Jen? And they get out the truck, and then Kerry says, well, fuck the Lexus. Leave the Lexus here. I got my SUV. It's better than the Lexus. Let's just take this. And they all jump in one car. And it's all these things are going on. And this is when all these weird conversations. But keep in mind, Jen doesn't know Kerry. Jen doesn't know Kerry. So now Jen got a black belt girl in the back and a girl, Kerry, that doesn't even know who this girl is and even know that the house that they're about to pull up and John's laying on the grass, she does not know that the connection she has with that house. So Jen got the one up. Find the baby blankets. Find the baby blankets. Find the baby blankets. Where's the baby blankets? I don't see the baby blankets.
What's going on?
There's a guy unresponsive in the snow.
There's what?
Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow. There's a
There's
man
what?
passed out in the snow. There's
Who?
a guy unresponsive in the snow. There's
a
a
what?
man passed out in the snow. There's a guy
Who?
unresponsive in the snow.
What have been
Terry.
conversations you have heard?
Kerry.
What's going on?
There's a guy unresponsive in the snow. 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow. There's a man passed out in the snow. There's a guy unresponsive in the snow. There's a man passed out in the snow. There's a guy unresponsive in the snow.
What's going on?
There's a guy unresponsive in the snow. 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow. There's a
She had 2 tries. Hello? 911. May we help you? There's a man passed out in the snow. Let me put you through to Canton. Can you go to 34 Fairview Road? There's a guy passed out in the snow. 2 chances. We all know if she would have said, there's an officer down. A Boston police officer. A fucking helicopter would have landed. Airwolf. Right? The call would have went out. If Big Bad Brian A heard the call, seen everything, and would have woke up, because he wakes up for raccoons, right? He'll wake up for anything. If he would have made the call, if she would have ran in and got him and woke him up, right? And got him up out of the bed, and he would have called Boston police. Boston police would have flew down to Canton. Right down 93, up 95. You know how they make that funny sound? They would have made their presence known because it's one of theirs. Let me ask you guys a question, Chris A. and 3 people on that board. Why don't you think there wasn't one Boston police officer, one Boston police car in front of Dedham Superior Court, Norfolk Superior? Not one. Because, right, Jen? How about this?
I don't. Where are the blankets? I don't see blankets, Harry.
I don't see blankets, Kerry. Really? Open your eyes up and look like this. Oh, there's a whole fucking house full of blankets. All types of blankets. Comforters, heating blankets. They might even have some baby blankets still with names on it. They got dog blankets with Chloe. They got socks, hoodies. They got space heaters. Oh, by the way, there's a first responder there. So that day, Jen doesn't know Kerry. She don't know Kerry. So she's manipulating both these people. She's playing them. And ask yourself this question. If Jen's not guilty, why that day when Kerry made a statement, she was like, she's telling him everything and she's spilling tea. And why did that make Jen happy that Kerry was turning on Karen? When in fact, Jen don't know Kerry, she knows Karen and she doesn't know exactly what happened. So why would she want to see somebody tear down her friend? Because at that point, she didn't know what happened. Or did she?
Exactly.
We still swimming?
God damn. We're swimming.
Careless they are in order to sensationalize a story, and how this impacts families, let alone a young adult male who, is just entering into adulthood, and they just don't care.
No, it's all about the media. They hold a big responsibility in this. They hold a lot of blame, and they just went with clicks and likes to sell a story. And what they've done, and they're, oh God, it's just the fact that they've sensationalized this and just. It's just terrible. Absolutely.
Well, and in trial too, Judge Cannoni ruled that there wasn't enough to even name Palin as a third party culprit. And so you would think that that would cause people to think, the public to think, that would cause the media to write articles, and that is not at all what happened.
Right.
Yeah, where's all the articles from the
Yeah,
media saying, well, Judge Canoni said they didn't want to hear it. They just
Right.
didn't let it, you know? It didn't
Well,
feel
even, I mean, her latest filing doesn't have Colin in it. Not even
No,
mentioned.
right.
No one's
But
mentioned
I
that.
mean, that's the damage those things do. Once you do that, there's no putting that back.
Nope.
There's no
No.
stopping that, and there will always be people that believe that. And I think some of this alternative media, these YouTubers as well, they would have people on, you know, that lived in Canton. They're not doing any fact checking. They're allowing these people to spew these crazy rumors. I mean, do you remember that one, Carrie, that one show? It was someone from Canton who's been very vocal and then just dropped out, and she was making comments about Colin.
Yes.
And they were it was just all gossip and blanket statements.
Gossip and
She had
rumors and
no
that was-
examples,
yeah,
nothing.
So,
yes.
Chris, that's your boy McCabe, and that's what you got told by your brother Brian to say when they went up in D&E's Pizza, telling the guy never went in the house. The guy, Officer John O'Keefe, a cop, the guy who took his 2 siblings in because his sister died of brain cancer. A couple of months later, the dad OD'd and died with the fentanyl epidemic. And it's just a guy, just a fucking guy. A guy that he was with the night before hanging out with. A guy that wears the same exact badge as him. A guy that was invited to his house by his boy Brian Higgins. Are you coming here? The same guy you fucking manhandled, Chris. We dehumanized you. Are you on fucking crack? You can come on the JFK show anytime you want, Chris. We can talk about pizza, M&Ms, ice cream, or we could talk about how this channel solely is responsible for not making it back to 1985. Would you believe it?
Would you believe it?
The fact that they keep saying, like, every time we investigated these people, right? I watched the first trial. The second trial was whack because they hit all these people. All these people were hidden. There was no Maddie in it.
In the first trial, they all tried to distance themselves from John.
Yeah, and they always out there. And guess what? That's the reason why you're popping your fucking little head out again, because you know this trial's coming, and you're trying to get ahead of it.
And they're trying to
Right.
make money off of donations.
And you're trying to make money off donations because you need that money for these lawyers, because you need a fight. What did he say we did? We single-handedly what? What did Homeboy say we did? Let's hear what he had to say. No, not him. Our boy last night, Will Henry. What did he say we do? Let's take a quick Will Henry break. You guys need a Will Henry break?
That were to come. And so this altered the course of 1985.
Oh, my God.
1955, it was young
What the fuck are you talking about?
1985.
Oh, fuck.
Now, these assholes, and then Karen Reed jumping into their chat, fueling them,
Hear that?
altered the course of 1985. And that's what. He's a fucking
Hello?
idiot.
Hello?
Chris, you out there? Are you the one taking this first step for everyone? It's a mighty big step, Chris.
It really is.
I'm gonna say that. Those are the things they want to make people forget, right? They don't want people to remember that John, his son, or Patrick, his nephew, came into Chris's shop that day. That's where he spent his last day having lunch was with his friend Chris. They don't want everybody to remember that. And I think he might himself out with you guys, right, Chris? That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, he said, what are you doing tonight? And I said, actually, it's my birthday.
I mean, they don't want people to remember that.
I thought it was
Look
just
at that, though. Look at that. Let me wind that back.
too. And
Let me wind that back.
And his son, or Patrick, his nephew, came into Chris's shop that day. That's where he spent his last day having lunch was with his friend Chris. They don't want everybody to remember that.
Let me
And
put that
I
back.
think he might himself out with you guys, right, Chris? That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, he said, what are you doing?
Look at the way you lined up that question. Lady, you slick, huh? Do you talk to Chris on the phone? Who's asking that question?
Tonight? And I said, actually,
Llama.
Llama's asking that question, huh?
They want everybody to remember that. And
Mama Llama, you talk to Chris A every day on the phone, don't you? Because I talk to Kevy Kev 781 and Jay Bro every day. I'm gonna keep it 100. Me and Kevy Kev, man. Kevy Kev will listen to me for hours. I'll listen to Kevy Kev for hours. If he goes on a rant, I'm listening. If I'm on a rant, I'm listening. Jay Bro, he's just to the point. Listen, I'm taking over the government. I'll call you back. Click. He's just to the point, right?
Damn.
But we're all in contact with each other. And the way you lined up that question, did you peep that, Jay Bro? She lined it up. She was like, right. And he was gonna keep going. If you listen, now I've seen this before, all you guys, so that's the reason why I'm stopping it. But that stuck out to me. He was gonna keep going with the story, like his monologue. It's not dialogue. It's a monologue. It's the script. Pay attention. Shit is wild. And Mama Llama, oh man, she's all over the internet.
I think he invited himself out with you guys, right, Chris? That's what you guys are doing.
he said, what are you doing tonight? And I said, actually, it's my nephew's birthday.
I mean, they don't want
Yeah, you were gonna keep going. Now watch when she cut him off. Watch how he looks.
people to remember that.
Oh, you got real uneasy, huh, buddy? The question started coming. Oh shit! Fuck!
Yeah,
I hope I answered.
himself.
I hope I answered that one right. Ugh, it's my nephew's birthday. Oh fuck! Damn, big bad Brian. I don't want to get smacked up like I did in 1987 when he smacked the shit out of me. Did you just go to Paragon Park? Have anybody been to Paragon Park back in the day? You used to have to take a boat to it. Was it called Paragon Park? I think you had to leave from Plymouth or something to get to that park. I might be going too far back. I was a little kid, man, but I just remember being on a boat going to this park called Paragon Park. Was it called that?
It might have been.
Yeah, it was like I mean, I was a little ass kid, man. But it's in Hull. Boozy Beauty, goddamn, Boozy Beauty, goddamn.
Maybe some night we could swim out there.
Maybe we could take a swim to Paragon Park.
Yeah, with the orcas.
The orcas.
I thought it was just, I thought it was so cute because my dad was
Oh
into
my
it
God,
too.
so
And
cute.
when we would tease him, we'd be like, yeah, we're gonna step on the lawn. You know, my girlfriend and I used to tease him all the time. So I thought it was super cute. So, you know, I remember when it was happening, you know, live during the trial, and I was like, what is he
Oh shit, I fucked up. Damn.
You know, it wasn't what,
you're doing to this kid?
I'm sorry, guys. I hit the wrong button.
People, right? By dehumanizing.
I mean, John asked us to just keep a lookout on his yard. So me and Julie went to dinner. John and Karen, I think we're in Florida or something. So as a joke, on the way home, Julie's like, "Hey, pull over. We're gonna send John." So we straddle the fence, and they're like, "Oh, look at them harassing him." And
That was so
weird.
And Karen obviously knew that. And Karen
Right,
knew
of
that
course she did.
narrative, right?
She saw the photo when it was sent over.
You know,
I mean,
It's such a melodramatic and hysterical way to
It is.
interpret a little joke like that. And then the other thing that he did that's top of mind right now is the incident with Dylan.
Here we go.
And where he kept trying to make it Colin, and he kept trying to say,
Oh,
Colin
yeah.
just walked through his yard and flip him off. And you're like, no, that was Dylan. And I thought it was really sweet too. The end of that story that John didn't even realize that he had upset Dylan, and then he comes over with Candy, and that tells you what their relationship was like.
Yeah, that's how we actually became friends with John, was because
Really?
that's what Dylan did. He was in middle school. He runs across John's yard. John just was being John. It was like, "Hey, get off my lawn, kid." It was like not a big deal. But Dylan being
He was in middle school. Get off my lawn. He was in middle school, so which means, so you sure you didn't hold a grudge against him for that though? I seen people hold grudges for less.
the big
like the sixth grade, was a little bit
town man.
startled. So
He was in sixth grade.
The street just yelled at me, and so Julie called Jen and said something to Jen about it, and Jen reached out to John. Within 2 hours, Dylan's favorite candy was on our front yard.
Aw.
And then we became friends with him. That's kind of how we connected.
How do you know what
It's
his
just silly.
great
People,
story.
they buy into these crazy stories like they're true, and they don't know anything.
I mean,
How do you know about the favorite candies?
how does he know about what his favorite candy is? I mean, it got that deep with Jen on the phone, huh?
Yeah, and Boozy
I mean,
Beauty
Jen
made
couldn't have been like,
read that
"Hey,
right there,
come on,
brother.
my best friend's fucking sister, my best friend's son." Like he didn't mean nothing by it.
Listen, I don't know, man. I would assume that if a sixth grader ran across a guy's lawn who's a cop, and he's like, "Hey, kid, get off my lawn," and they're holding a grudge against this dude, and that's exactly what Boozy Beauty's pointing out. Yeah, but then they made it a thing and kept poking at John O'Keefe for years about it, and then the son, Colin, it became a thing with Colin. Fuck that guy, right? Is that what it was? I don't know. You're saying it's not like that, Chris. You're saying it's not like that, Chris. Then come on the show and talk about it. You're on this show. What's the difference between being in that box or in this box? You got the truth on your side. All you got to do is tell the truth. We're not trying to spin you.
You got to remember something. It's like, as we kind of found out about John, it was like, "Hey, take your shoes off before you come in." I can remember talking about his garage. I mean, we're talking about a John O'Keefe, man. He had his ways said about him. He liked his grass cut short. He had a convertible muscle car in the garage. He had things. He worked hard for his shit.
Yep.
And
he didn't want a sixth grader running across his lawn, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's a reflection. And like he could have took that personal, like oh, what does he think he's better than me?
I mean, if his nephew was out there throwing ball on the front lawn, I would see it being like, "Hey, really, dude?" But it sounds like the nephew and niece didn't play out on the front lawn. I mean, some people are like that.
True. And keep in mind, he states that he didn't know John at that point. Jen did.
About the truth.
And when they get told, because those go around like rumors, and then it's like when it gets corrected, they just either keep saying it or they drop it and move on to the next speculation.
Yep.
And part of that, I wondered at the time, because I thought those were really sweet stories. I thought the donuts in the car was really sweet. Like they just seemed like warm relationships. And sometimes I wonder, is it just that these people don't have the healthy relationships in their lives? Like their lives are so messed up that they do think it's impossible for somebody to do something really sweet for you on your birthday?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So for the record, Ian, you know that Dunkin' Donuts are always open during blizzards. Why is everyone think that's such a weird thing?
I know,
Especially
I know.
in New England, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
never
how we did all the time. Brought him donuts on his birthday all the time.
Yeah.
That's
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is jealousy. You have this tight knit family.
Yeah.
And I think that some people are very jealous of that. If you don't have, good relationships in your life and you see somebody that has that, you're going to be jealous.
So
And the
Leon,
other thing was the beer can thing, where Karen tried to make it seem like it was Colin. It was not Colin. But again, another just very melodramatic, hysterical way to interpret it and just make, Colin into this villain, this person that he's not.
Right.
And I can't imagine. You were probably my head would have been spinning on the stand. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, it's great. Imagine you blaming that on a 17-year-old kid at the time. Can you even imagine what goes through a person's mind to do that and to blame others?
You're trying to dehumanize people.
You have to make Colin into some sort of villain, which just wasn't true. So let's just say that he did this and threw beer cans on John's lawn.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
It's
insane.
crazy.
Drive by
And
and
he's-
get a finger. Like, what? That never ever happened.
And,
sure about that?
and she knew that. That's the saddest part. She knew,
And these
and
attorneys, after the acquittal, walk around like heroes, and it's like you just left this master aftermath storm on these families in order to win
Aftermath
a
storm.
case. Do you not morally see a problem with this? I mean, it's crazy.
Well, how about this, lady? Why don't you ask him that his lawyer, when they got him only 6 months in jail after he ran a dude over and killed him, and they got him out of jail, the aftermath that he left. That's what lawyers do. Regardless of the situation, lady, about the lawyers being heroes, that's what the lawyers do. You got Scapiccio in the same county, Norfolk County, getting Miles King out of jail, who killed Marquis Simmons. And your man JFK is going to bring that up since we got 457 people. I want everybody in the chat. Hashtag Marquis Simmons that died out in Milton. And Miles King, a murderer, who he pointed out his very last breath, his declaration before he died, said it was Miles King, Mizzy Cash. And he's going to get out because of Proctor and these fucking idiots. Right? So that's what lawyers do. Do I hate Scapiccio for it? No, because that's what she does. She gets people out of jail under technicalities. And even if one person got to get let out that's guilty or whatever, it is what it is, because her bigger picture is to expose the corruption. I guess I would assume that's what it is. But Marquis Simmons, how about the aftermath they left on him? The McAlberts, the lies. Proctor, the lies. Proctor didn't have to say all the things about Karen. He didn't have to say she's not going down for it. They didn't have to invert videos. They didn't have to get caught up with this shit and not do speedy trials. Marquis Simmons is getting the shit end of the deal behind these people, behind this trial, behind what's going on. Why don't you ask them questions? But more so, why don't you ask the questions to him about what he did when he killed a man? Because that's what lawyers do. You're sitting there acting like the lawyers are evil. No, that's what lawyers do. They get people out of jail. You do know that, right? So calm the fuck down.
I want to bring up something too real quick before you
Go ahead, brother.
they were talking about how a couple minutes ago how he says, and Dunkin' Donuts, I mean, this is New England. They're open, 24 hours.
Yeah, you make sure he put that in there. And not for nothing, I would just say, just to add to that, this channel right here is probably one of the biggest channels from the jump when we talked about her being in the parking lot waiting, because I truly believe Julie Albert was going to be the one to find John O'Keefe. From 11:45 to 7:45 was the midnight hours, the midnight oil, should I say, that the police work. And I truly believe that she was going to be the one in that window of opportunity to find John on the lawn. Hey, I just went to drop off the donuts. I truly believe that was going to be a part of the story, and they kept that there. They kept that solid because then she couldn't mess it up. If they start changing the script, she'll fumble the script. But like I said,
and not for nothing too. I mean, and I'm not talking shit, but I mean, they were saying something about middle-aged women,
people talking
40,
shit.
60, how they're attacking Colin and all this stuff. But like when I look up at this panel here, I say to myself, which one of these women would jump in their car in the middle of a fucking snowstorm and drive to fucking a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts and get fucking 6 fucking donuts? Can you answer me that?
Hey man, what's up, guys? Kevin from South Boston.